have actually been Power BI certified, okay? I tell people all the time, just because you're certified does not mean you can do the work. What that means is that you have done one of three things. One, you've either studied real hard and you passed the test. Two, someone gave you the answers to the test and you passed the test. Or three, you just got extremely lucky and you passed the test. But at the end of the day, certification does not mean that you are good at what you do. It just means that you passed the test, okay? So with that said, I just passed the test. So I don't want you to like base who I am or what I do based on me having passed the test. But I am Power BI certified. I've already given you pretty good introduction of myself. I've pretty much given you a pretty good introduction of what Power BI is, what Power of the BI is, and this is who we are, and this is what we do, and this is where we're going. So I'm not going to beat that dead horse too much longer because we have other things to go into. What is business intelligence? Again, we've talked about it real briefly. What is business intelligence? There is data, and when you use data to make determinations, to make predictions, to determine outcomes, to look at or create some type of visualization as to what type of story this data is telling. That's what business intelligence is, using data to tell a story at the end of the day. We can say, what is business intelligence? Blah, 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 blah. Importance in decision making. What's the importance of decision making? We all know what the importance of a decision maker is. Blah, 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 blah. Role of business intelligence, modern organizations. If we are able to tell the story by using the data, we know that that is the role of business intelligence in today's organization. So what is that? Blah, 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 blah. We're going to keep moving because we've got a lot to get covered here in this 90 minutes. Introduction to Power BI. Again, what is Power BI? Key features of Power BI: data visualization, integrating data, transformations, accessibility, machine learning. Now, that is important. Machine learning. We're not going to get too deep into machine learning in this course, but because machine learning is more on the artificial intelligence side, but artificial intelligence and business intelligence coming together create a very powerful machine. I'm not gonna say a machine. Create a very powerful element. And as we find ourselves moving through this course, you're gonna understand how powerful business intelligence is, and you're gonna probably become very curious as to artificial intelligence, and you'll kind of put that together in your own way. I'm not gonna give you too much to go off on there because I kind of want you to make some decisions as to which direction you want to look when it comes to making artificial intelligence work with business intelligence. Why choose Power BI? Again, we use Power BI for the simple fact of what the name is, business intelligence, and businesses need to know what their data is saying. They need to see what that data is, what the story is behind that data. And by us creating visualizations in Power BI, we are allowing individuals to make key decisions based on real information, not based on what they're predicting, not based on what they think the history has. We're showing them real-time data. We're showing them real-time visualizations of historical data, which could be anywhere from 5 to 10 years old, maybe even 20 years old, to maybe 15 seconds old. Okay, because we can pull data and we can refresh the data so that it's refreshing, automatically. So we'll keep moving. The components of Power BI. Power BI Desktop, Power BI Service, and Power BI Mobile. What does that mean? There are three main components of Power BI. Three locations where Power BI is developed. Power BI Desktop. Power BI Desktop is developed where? On the desktop. You're actually developing the product on the desktop. Now, with that said, for the most part, you're going to always be developing on the desktop about 90% of the time. And then you're going to, even with mobile is developed on the desktop. And what does mobile mean? It means Power BI Desktop, you're creating visualizations to where individuals will be able to look on a computer, on a website, or at a URL to visualize the data as we would any other website. Power BI Mobile is simply us being able to develop on the website, and then what we're going to do is we are going to optimize that for mobile phones and mobile devices. Then there's Power BI Service. The difference between Power BI Service and Power BI Desktop is we can develop directly on the web, right? We can create the visualization. We can bring the data in straight from the source, and we can develop straight from the web. Disadvantage: Power BI Service. Power BI Service does not have all of the resources that we need in order to do all the customizations that we do on Power BI Desktop. With that said, again, I think I may have said maybe 85 or 90%, so probably about 90% of the time we're going to be developing on Power BI Desktop, and then we'll be publishing to Power BI Service. Power BI Service, if you can just think in your mind, Power BI Service is just powerbi.com. It's app.powerbi.com. It's just Power BI on the internet. Power BI Service is Power BI on the internet. App.powerbi.com is Power BI Service. So, Power BI Service and Power BI Desktop, again, pretty much are the same, except Power BI Desktop is more robust, and we have more tools on Power BI Desktop to where we can develop more applications and be more custom and be more have greater sense of I want to say customizability, but I'm not sure if that's the word. We have greater access to being more custom, creating more custom visualizations by using desktop. Now, getting started with Power BI Desktop. Getting started with Power BI Desktop is pretty simple. You go to powerbi.com and you download desktop. Right? It's just an application. It is 100% totally free. Unlike other applications with Microsoft, this application is 100% totally free. You go to powerbi.com and you just click download, and you download the application. We will look at creating the first report a little later. Data sources in Power BI. What are data sources? Data sources are simply, where does the data come from? You're saying, hey, we're creating reports, we're creating visualizations, we're creating this fancy website, but where is this data coming from? The data comes from several different places. But here's the deal. It doesn't matter where the data comes from. Just understand that where the data comes from is the source of the data. Where the data comes from is the source of the data. Now, I'm going to go into it just a little bit. An Excel file can be the source of the data. A CSV file can be the source of the data. A database can be the source of the data. The source is, just like what source means in any other time, what is the source? The source is where does it come from? Where does the data come from? The data comes from the source. Then there's Power BI, there's the source, and then we have what we call get data, and in Power BI we go to get data, and we tell Power BI, go get data from that spreadsheet, go get data from that database, go get data from that CSV file, right? That's how we get our data into Power BI. If you want to look at it even a more simple way, is how do you upload the data to Power BI? That's the term we use, that we're accustomed to, and that's upload. That's what we do. We upload the data to Power BI. But in Power BI terms, we call it get data, or we call it load data. Data transformation. What is data transformation? We oftentimes get data, and the data is not how we want it to look. So we change it a little bit. For instance, say we have a spreadsheet, and in two columns, one column we have John, first name, and the last name we have Mark. But we realize that John is spelled Jon, but it's supposed to be John. So what we do, we change from Jon to John. In Power BI terms, we don't call that changing, we call that transforming. So transformation and cleaning is what we do in Power BI. We don't change, we transform. Okay. Data modeling in Power BI. Now, The sweet thing about Power BI is Power BI is a data visualization tool. Power BI is a data visualization tool. What that means is we get to see visuals. What that means is we get to see visuals, and